Oh, so we got Tony in the house with his son and Mark, and we are gonna make another meal prep here for the whole week. So we're set up for you know, all the food we want to eat that's healthy, just to have it to hand. So we're going to be cooking lots of dishes. It's going to go quite quickly, but we are going to start with the black beans. Oh, does anyone have any leftover quinoa or
I do. Yeah.
As in, I mean, if you got raw quinoa, I'll show you how to cook it real fast too. It's quite easy.
Yeah, I have leftover quinoa and lentils.
Okay, fantastic.
I just have the new quinoa.
What have you got?
I just have this.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. Oh, is that mixed quinoa? Is it pre-cooked or does it need cooking? What does it say?
Great question, Chef. I think it's. I think this needs to get cooked. It's a tricolor one. I got because.
Yeah. No, that's the best stuff to get. That's exactly what I got. I got the tricolor too. I cooked it last week. And it should be quite dry, right? If you
yes.
Pack it.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. So we're gonna just take some of that, and so how many people are you cooking? Are you cooking for yourself for the week, or you want some others to eat this as well?
Yeah, I'm going to cook as much as I can. Yeah.
Okay, so you probably want to do about 2 cups of quinoa. It's going to yield a lot. Okay, I'm just going to do about. Actually, I'm not going to cook anymore because I've got some leftover quinoa as well. Where is it? Yeah, I've got about a cup, maybe even cup and a half cooked already. So what you're going to do, Tony, is you're just going to put those 2 cups in a pot like this in a saucepan and cover them about 1 inch covered in water. And that's it. And then you start boiling that.
Yeah.
And while he's doing that, Ryan, what kind of a dirt bike do you have, buddy?
I'll be right back.
What do you have? What's one?
He's got a 50 CKO.
What's that? A CKO? What is that? What brand is that?
KO, I think it's a Chinese brand.
Oh, okay, awesome. And Tony, did you buy yourself a bike?
I just bought a Husqvarna 250.
That's a beast.
Yeah, it's a beast. I had a bike many years ago, a KLX 250, before I had kids, and now all my boys they're big into it. So I might as well listen. If you can,
good for you.
Might as well join them, right?
Yeah, good for you. I just sold my bike. Anyways.
Yeah, you don't need it in that weather, do you?
No.
So I put this
buy
on.
a new one every season. All right, so quinoa is on. We're gonna get our beans on as well. So ideally you want tinned black beans because it speeds the process up. If you could only get dry beans, well, you're gonna have to boil them. They're gonna take longer. But did anyone get tinned beans?
Yes.
Yeah. Do we save the juice, Chef, or do we get rid of the juice?
This is a great question. I would save the juice today.
Okay.
Just put it in a separate bowl or a jug or something. So I just like to open the can a little bit, like that, and then that way it's really easy to drain. So you can do 1 or 2 tins of black beans. 1 tin is probably 2 portions. So if you got 2 tins, it'll yield 4 portions.
Do we have to rinse the beans, Chef, or just leave them?
No, so these ones you could eat them straight out of the can. They're done.
Okay.
Yeah, but we're gonna jazz them up and make them taste a bit more interesting. So
one question on the quinoa, Chef. How much water do you put in there? Like I have it.
Yeah, so you cover the quinoa with at least 1 inch of water, as in it needs to be completely submerged.
Yeah.
And then you put maybe a half a teaspoon of salt in there.
Okay.
Right. So our tin of beans is ready, but we're just gonna chop some onion first. So you want to grab a nice sharp knife. And I'm just using 1 or 2 red onions. We might as well chop all the onions. We've got the ones for the quinotto as well. So I don't know, did you all get red onions or do you get shallots, or what kind of onions have you got?
I got white onions, chef.
Okay, so yeah,
I'm not a fan of the red onions.
Okay, why not?
I like them raw. I don't like them cooked because
Yeah.
they lose their color and they look ugly after you cook them.
Yeah, I hear you. That makes total sense. They're nice and raw. Well, they're nice raw and cooked, but cooked they don't look so pretty. So yeah, if you got any onions cooked, I would chop 2 of them. So we're gonna slice them in half down the root, and you want them finely diced, Tony. What I like to do is I like to just cut it in half and leave the root on, and then peel the onion half the onion at a time, and then that way.
Did dice small, chef?
Yeah, small dice, as small as you can.
Got it. With your fingers.
And you ideally want 2 onions, one that we're going to use in the beans and one that we're going to use in the quinotto.
Hey, let me see if I have another ribbon. You check
So
see if I have ribbon.
yeah, dice them nice and fine.
Yeah.
And then get a saucepan hot, a sort of medium saucepan. We're going to put some olive oil in there and sweat those onions down.
Regular onion, chef, does it matter? Or...
Yeah, regular onions is fine. So yeah, what was that?
Put them in a saucepan.
So once you've chopped both the onions, you're going to put some olive oil in the hot. So first heat the pan up. Once it's hot, then you put your olive oil in. Then you put your onions in. And you know, for 1 onion, you probably want 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. We're using extra virgin olive oil because it's better for you. Usually, if it just says olive oil, then it's been blended with other oils, and you never know what oils they blend it with. So either use avocado oil, which is probably the best for frying, but olive oil, you know, it's got a nice flavor and it's also really healthy. My pan's a little bit wet, so I'm just waiting for it to heat up, and all that to evaporate, and then I'm going to add my olive oil. So, you know, good amount of olive oil, about 2, 3, 4 tablespoons, depends how much onion you got, and then in goes the onion. Yeah. And you don't really want too much color on it. You want to sweat it, so you want it to get soft. And so add salt at this stage as well, using your hand. So 1, 2, maybe 3 pinches of salt. And we're going to have those sweating down.
Hey, is this one good or bad?
Now you're going to need your beer as well. So I'm using a Birra Moretti. If you've got stout or Guinness, Guinness is, you know, it's really healthy. It's the only alcohol that's bad for you, right?
Guinness Zero, does that work?
Yeah, Guinness Zero probably works. Exactly. It's not got any alcohol. We're just looking for the flavor of the stout. And so what we're doing now is we're going to sweat the onions down, get them all soft. Then we're going to split them in half. We're going to take half out, keep that for the quinotto. And the half that's in there, we're going to cook our beans in there. So we're going to need some garlic. So I'm going to prepare 2 cloves of garlic minced. Have you got a garlic mincer, Tony?
That's not registered with me now, chef.
So if you don't have a mincer, this is a microplane. You might have one of these. This is a really
I think I do, yeah.
Yeah, so they're you know, they're used for zesting lemons. They are used for grating Parmigiano, and they're really handy for grating garlic. So you basically can take the whole clove of garlic and just grate it right
This
through.
thing here, is that?
Well, that's a grater. So I mean, it might work. I would recommend you probably peel the garlic first, then going to grate it through there. Or do you have one of those old school garlic presses? So garlic press is, you put the garlic clove in it and then you squish it and it comes out.
That's Heineken Zero. And this is the black one.
Oh, you got your beer. Oh, you got your drinking beer. All right.
In the zero.
These are the scissors again.
So how many of these do I
2
shave?
cloves of garlic.
The whole thing? 2.
The whole thing, yeah.
Dad, which one?
That one.
Right. I'm just going to leave the garlic there on one side while we finish our onions. They're not far off. Right. That's the garlic. Clean down. What's really important when a man cooks in a woman's kitchen is to have it clean afterwards. No matter how good the food tastes, if the kitchen is messy, they get really upset.
Last
That's
thing we
what I've
need
learned the
now
hard
is-
way.
Last thing we need is another shit test.
Indeed.
Happiness.
Good man. So the beer goes where, chef?
Sorry, the beer doesn't go anywhere yet, but you can open it and have a swig if you want. Especially if it's Guinness Zero. Got to check if it's okay.
How do I open the Guinness?
No,
So
yeah.
once your onions are soft, let me check them. Now mine need a bit longer. That's when we want to add our garlic. We actually want to halve the onions, remember? I'm taking half the onions out.
What can I do?
Put this on.
I'm actually going to take half the onions out now. Doesn't matter if they're not completely soft. I'm going to throw my garlic in. As long as they've softened a little bit, I'm actually going to turn the heat up now. Once you take half the onions out, you can pump the heat up, then add your garlic and sizzle everything. That way the onions, the garlic, everything's going to get a little bit of color. You don't actually want the garlic to have too much color. So mainly the onions, you want to give them a bit of color. Once the onions have got color and you've just quickly fried the garlic a little bit, then you're going to add your beans. So you're using 2 tins, then you put 2 tins in. If you're just using one, just one. And it's just the beans at this stage. Give them a little stir. Let that get hot again. Once it's hot, we're going to add our beer. And so, beer and beans seems to work really well together. I don't know why. I think the beans are slightly sweet. The onions make it slightly sweet. And then the beer will go a little bit bitter, but also sort of hopsy. And all those flavors work beautifully together. And beans are, they're so healthy. They've got fiber, they've got protein, they're really filling. So, if you can find different ways to make them taste nice, then it's actually really quite enjoyable.
How much beer do we add, chef? Like the whole can? The
So
whole 500?
for one tin, you basically fill the tin with beer, and
Okay.
then that's how much you want to add.
Okay, thanks, chef.
Dad.
Oh.
Dad.
Mm,
Oh,
so
what
good.
time is it?
Right, and then we're just going to cook that down with all of that.
So how soft do these onions need to get?
So just a little bit soft is fine. Pump up the heat. Let's take half of them out, then pump up the heat, get them caramelized, and then it doesn't matter how soft the ones that the beans are going to are, because they're going to keep cooking. The ones for the quinoa, we can always cook a little bit more once with the quinoa. Once they're in with the quinoa.
So you said take half of them out, add the garlic.
Exactly. Exactly. That's exactly right. Half of them out into a bowl or pot, or even straight into a Tupperware container. Right, I seem to have misplaced my tomatoes. I will be right back. So next thing is we want to basically take some tomatoes and dice them up. We're going to make a really fast salsa.
Dad, where's the Guinness?
Here.
Why are you laughing?
All right, I found them. So your beans should be boiling. All of that should be cooking off. Grab your tomatoes and rinse them. Make sure they're really nice and clean. And then you basically just want to dice them up. So I like to cut them into quarters. Some people like to get rid of the seeds, but the seeds are really high in fiber. Then you cut them into eighths, and then.
Quick question, Chef. So I have half the onions with the
Garlic.
garlic, and then add the beans now.
Exactly. Add your drained beans. And then let them warm up.
Dinner.
What was that, Ryan?
We don't have perfect dinner.
Perfect.
You're gonna have a perfect dinner. Yeah, you are. All right.
All right, so add the beer now, right?
Just for the record, when Mummy cooks dinner, it's also perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, but yours is empty.
Yeah, and then once you've heated your beans a little bit, then add the beer, and it should boil straight away.
Oh, the beer is empty.
What, did you drink it already, Ryan?
What?
I hope it was the Guinness Zero.
Yeah. I'm not drinking it.
I like to drink.
So
Dad,
the tomato, we're just dicing coarsely. It doesn't have to be finely diced. As I said, I'm cutting them into eighths and then into little chunks.
Then the rest of the, when do you add the rest of the onions? Yeah.
What the other half of onions you've held back, they're going to be for the quinotto. It was just to save us an operation.
Okay.
Dad, when are we going to use the eggs?
When are we going to use the eggs? When we get to the mug cake time. Just you wait.
Okay.
First of all, we're just making a quick salsa. So the salsa again goes into a bowl. Now, if you like raw onion, it's delicious. A little bit of raw red onion could go into that. I'm just going to put a little bit of shallot in there.
Dad, can I use that knife?
So this is a simple pico de gallo salsa, really popular one in Mexico, and it's just raw tomatoes, raw onion. Some people put garlic in, a little bit of chili if you want chili, leave the chili out, and that's it. Salt.
Oh,
I'm using a shallot, so that's lovely, and I used my red onion already. Have you added the beer to the beans, Tony?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
They should be cooking away nicely.
water.
So, I mean, the salsa is a little bit laborious, but, you know, it does keep a couple of days. It's delicious.
Is
Nice
that
and fresh.
raw?
It's healthy. So, once you mix your onions, your tomato, you add a bit of salt. I like to add a bit of cider vinegar as well. So cider vinegar, just to add a bit of acidity, maybe half a teaspoon, not much. You can add lime juice. It's more typical to add lime juice. If you like it spicy, yeah, add a bit of Tabasco or chili sauce. But, you know, if the kids are going to be eating that, then don't. But, you know, a little bit of chili is actually quite good for you. Too much gives you ulcers. So I said, yeah, cherry tomatoes or whole tomatoes. If you got cherry tomatoes, just cut them into quarters. Right. So let that salsa marinate for a bit. We're now going to turn our attention to our pumpkin because we need to roast our pumpkin. You've either got your oven on or you've got your air fryer on. Either way, you want to get them on because we're going to be roasting our pumpkin in that. What kind of pumpkin did you all get? Butternut squash. Yes. So you want to peel it. So we don't want skin on it.
Put it in the air fryer.
No, not right now.
Oh, not right.
So I mean, pumpkins are quite hard to prep. There's a lot of seeds. There's a lot of skin. So just any which way that works. There's no. I mean, you just want to end up with the flesh. You don't need a lot for this for the mug cake. So you could even just get away with half the pumpkin, or I mean, it really depends on the size of your pumpkin. I'm not going to do all of it. I'm just going to do like a quarter, so it cooks more quickly. You only need to end up with about a cup or so of pumpkin puree.
All right, my pumpkin didn't make it.
What about butternut squash?
Dad, you forgot to buy a pumpkin.
Should I just do half the butternut squash then, Chef?
Yeah, just do half.
No, chef, I never got that.
Do you have a tin of pumpkin puree maybe left over from Thanksgiving?
Actually, I might, yeah.
Oh,
It's unfortunate. It's kind of a key ingredient to the mug cake that we're making. But let's see what we could improvise with something. Carrot. You could probably improvise with a carrot. Actually, hold on. We got sweet potatoes, don't we? Yes. Let's use. If you haven't got pumpkin, a sweet potato will probably do.
Yeah, I should have checked all my ingredients when I put them in the fridge, but no,
So-
I'm out of that, chef.
Yeah. So Tony, what you want to do is you want to take how big are your sweet potatoes? Let's see.
I don't have any.
Oh, you don't have sweet potatoes either. Ah. What about carrots?
I have regular potatoes.
You have what?
I have regular potatoes.
Ah, that's not going to work. Do you have carrots?
Yes.
Yeah, let's try it with carrots. All similar family.
Wait, Chef, what do I do with the butternut squash and like cube it up or?
Yeah, so I would cut it as thin and small as you can. That way it'll cook more quickly. What we want to do is we want to roast it. And
So
then,
like,
actually, sorry, we don't want to roast it. No, we want to microwave it. So just cut it up any old way, stick it in a container and microwave it for until it's soft. It might take 10 minutes.
with water or all on its own?
No water at all. It's got quite a lot of moisture. And what we want is we want that moisture to go away. So I'm just
So I
throwing
still need to cut it up then, Chef? Cut it up or just
you do. You want to cut it up so it'll break down more easily.
like
And
half?
Tony, you want to do the
like,
same. You want
Like
to
two,
peel your carrot, chop it up, and stick it in a bowl.
like 2 centimeter cubes or 3 centimeter, 1 centimeter?
Well, the thinner the better, because then it'll cook more quickly. But it doesn't have to be cubes. It can literally be slices. You're just trying to
very good.
increase the surface area. By increasing the surface area, it reduces
Yep.
cooking time.
I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Right, I'm gonna try a carrot as well because I haven't done this recipe with carrot before, so I want to see if it works. I tested it with pumpkin. It was incredible. So good. Right, stick that in and then cover it with cling film so it steams a bit, or lids or plates, whatever you want really.
How many carrots do you think? Just 2 or 3?
And then on you cook it on high for, as I said, about 8 minutes probably. What did you have a question, Tony?
Yeah, sorry. How many carrots do you think? Just 2 or 3?
Yeah, two large carrots or 3 medium ones should probably do. You want to end up with a cup of puree. So you probably need 2 cups worth of raw vegetable to end up with 1 cup puree. Okay, my beans have absorbed all the beer. So that means they're almost done. I'm just going to stir them and taste them. No taste of nothing because they need salt. if you got some cumin, I know it wasn't on the list, but if you have cumin would be really nice in the beans. So a couple of dash, as in a pinch roughly of cumin. Cumin's so strong. There we go. And a bit more salt. And so that's my beans done. I'm gonna put them to one side. Now, if you've overcooked your beans, then you can add some of the liquid from the can. That'll just sort of sort it out. Let me know when you've got your butternut squash or your carrot in the microwave.
Going in right now.
Great.
Okay, so on the carrot, what do we add before the microwave?
Have you sliced it thinly? Or,
Yeah.
Yeah, great. So cling film or plate on top, and then microwave it on high for about 3, 4, 5. Maybe start with 4 minutes. Start with 4 minutes on high, and then we'll see where it's at. Carrots have a higher sugar content than the butternut squash, which has got higher water content. So it's more likely to burn if it's got higher sugar content, lower water content, but we'll see. How are your beans looking, Mark?
Good, I guess. Dry. There's a little bit of liquid left. You see that?
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably good to keep in there. That way they stay quite
Yeah, okay.
moist. And then taste them. If they need salt, add cumin if you have some cumin, or garam masala is quite nice. Or Mexican spice if you have a Mexican fajita spice, that you can throw a bit of that in the beans.
I've got taco seasoning, like this fancy taco spice.
Yeah, try that. So our salsa, our simple salsa, it's just got the onions, it's got salt, it's got a little bit of cider vinegar, a little bit of Tabasco, really jazzes it up. And if you have cilantro, a bit of chopped cilantro is very typical. So I'm just going to chop a little bit of that through.
And that's going into the beans or the salsa?
The salsa. There we go. So salsa's done, beans are done. I'm going to put my beans into my container already. Now, if you're going to eat the beans straight away with the salsa, we're going to show you how we do the avocado. I mean, the avocado, I'm not going to cut mine because I'm not going to eat this till late in the week. And if, the avocado is something you can quickly cut. And then, if you leave it out for too long, it'll go brown. So all you want to do is dice up half an avocado per portion and mix it through the salsa. And then that's it. If your salsa's got a lot of flavor, then your avocado is going to be yummy too. The only thing to bear in mind is tomorrow, the salsa is going to be a bit wetter. So if you have a smaller Tupperware container that you can put it in, might be better to have the salsa separate because that wetness, then you can pour it off. You end up with something, not too soggy. But the idea is that you basically have a lettuce leaf. So the bigger your lettuce, the better. I'll just show you. You take a lettuce leaf. You take some beans. You take some salsa. Now, if you want some chicken in there, you throw some chicken in there. Otherwise, yeah, you put your avocado. I'm just gonna cut a bit out, show you. Obviously, the avocado is the healthy fat. It's gonna make it nice and creamy. Bit of salt on the avocado is always good. And that's it. That's our black bean avocado salsa wrap. And you just roll it up like this, like a joint. Delicious.
It's good.
So yeah, make sure your beans and your salsa taste really good. That way it's just ready to go. Tomorrow, I mean, when you eat it, you can either warm up the beans in the microwave 20, 30, 40 seconds just to soften them. And then you get that hot beans, cold salsa, really nice. But make sure your beans taste really nice now, because when they're cold, they're going to have a milder flavor. So you always want to make sure you season them as they should taste when they're warm. So, cumin will help. Salt. The beer will have given them a lot of flavor as well. So yeah, as I said, if you have a smaller container, put your salsa in the smaller container.
Chef, what would you recommend doing with the other half of the butternut squash?
It'll keep in the fridge for a week, so we could use it next weekend, or you could slice it up now and roast it in the air fryer with salt, with cumin, or even the pumpkin spice that we have for the dish later. You could put some of that on and salt on your butternut squash, so into cubes, like 3 centimeter cubes. Air fry it. Once it's air fried, pour some maple syrup over it. Air fry it a bit longer, and then it'll caramelize, and it's beautiful. It's almost like a dessert.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Have you ever made pasta? Like added butternut squash to a pasta?
Yeah.
At all?
Yeah. So the way we're making it, pureed, it makes a great addition to pasta. So you just have a plain pasta. You mix in the pumpkin puree and some Parmigiano, and you have a delicious pasta sauce.
Awesome. Thank you, Chef. Sorry, I forgot my squash is halfway done.
It's halfway done.
In the microwave.
Yeah, but let's.
In the microwave, yeah.
You got to check it though. It's very unlikely to burn in the microwave.
I did. So yeah.
Oh, you're breaking up, Mark. What did you say?
Oh, yeah, I have crappy internet right now.
Oh wow, mine's already done.
Yeah, no, I just forgot about it in the microwave.
Yeah, mine's done. Huh, that was quick.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let that cool down. So once it's soft enough that you can squish it, that means it's done, and you just let it cool down a bit.
So the beans seem to be a little bit more. They're still liquidy, so
yeah, keep cooking them. Keep cooking them until they're not liquidy anymore.
And then the carrots get added to where?
The carrots?
Yeah, in the microwave.
Yeah. Once they're soft, you're going to let them cool down, and then you're going to whiz them. Do you have a NutriBullet? Do you have a Vitamix?
Yeah, NutriBullet.
Yeah, NutriBullet will be fantastic. So you want to blend them up in the NutriBullet, but you do need to just let them cool down a little bit, because if it's too hot, it'll...
Awesome.
Do we need to add liquid to it, Chef?
Do you need to
Chef,
add
do we need to add liquid to it if we're going to blend it up?
Yeah, so they should have released a little bit of liquid. If there's no liquid left, then a little bit of liquid just to get it working. But it should work. I'm gonna give mine a go. Mine to cool down a little bit. Let's see. Ooh, it's hot. So I'm mixing the carrot and the butternut squash. Why not? We lost Ryan. Is Ryan still there, Tony?
He's here.
Oh, cool.
He's after sneaking off with some snacks.
Right. I didn't need to add any liquid. It's done. Yeah, doesn't need liquid. Doesn't need salt either. Don't add any salt. You want it plain. So that's that puree done. Right. Onto the sweet potato rusty. We want to peel our sweet potato. And you can keep the skins to make, crispy potato skins if you like. in the air fryer. It's delicious. You basically toss them in oil, avocado oil, and you air dehydrate them. You know what? My air fryer's still on. I'll just try that. Well, the dehydrate function takes a long time actually, but we need our air fryer preheating. So then we're going to grate this on a coarse grate setting. So something like this, this kind of size. And I'm going to grate 2 sweet potatoes. It's going to yield about 3-4 pieces, but you might need, it depends how big yours are, but you need quite a lot because it does shrink. Now, if you have a food processor with a blade, that, you know, a grating blade, that'll really help this. Raw sweet potato tastes really good. Now, it's not exactly the same process to make potato rashti as it is sweet potato rashti. Potato rashti you want to parboil, but sweet potato, it cooks so quickly that you don't need to. How you all doing? You grating away? Or you got the kids doing it for you, Tony?
No, sweet potato, I don't have it.
Oh yeah, you don't have it. Yeah. Well, you could do it with the, you got the normal potato. I mean, it's not as healthy, but you can learn the process at least. What you want to do is you want to peel the potatoes and boil them, but parboil them so they're still a little bit hard. Right.
Chef.
Yeah.
I got like, that's the volume of 1 sweet potato.
Yeah.
Probably about, I would say 4 cups. Should I do 2 sweet potatoes?
Yeah, definitely. Because what we're
Okay.
gonna do, we are gonna salt that mixture, and that's gonna draw out some of the moisture, and then we need to squeeze that moisture out. So I'm adding salt now. It's gonna let that draw out the moisture. And then with the skins, I'm just gonna quickly air fry them. So tossing the skins in a bowl and then into the air fryer, onto the basket, spread them out. The problem is that the heat, well, you can cook them fast, I think. Let's see. There we go, 160 centigrade. Okay, we still got a lot to get through, gents, so we're gonna step it up a gear, okay?
Yeah.
Tony,
I can,
what are you grating, Tony?
I can go back and review this anyway.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I think maybe leave the rashti for another time, Tony.
Yeah.
And we'll crack on with the quinoa. Once your quinoa, is your quinoa cooked, Tony? The water might be
it's
all
done,
absorbed. What you need
Yeah.
to do with sometimes with quinoa, it's worth rinsing it under. So you drain it and rinse under cold water because it can be a little bit bitter. So you just rinse off that bitterness. You need a fine sieve, otherwise it'll disappear down the drain. So the hash browns are working. Mug cake we're going to do next. Caesar dressing. Let's do the Caesar dressing. I'm going to use my stick blender for this.
It is pretty dry already, though.
What, the lentils?
The quinoa.
Oh, the quinoa. It's dry. What, have you tasted it? Are they cooked? It might need more water if it's not cooked. Taste some.
It's cooked all right.
Okay, great. Is it bitter or not?
A little bit.
Yeah. So if it's bitter, rinse it under cold water, and then put it back in the pot.
Okay.
Where the flip is it? There you are. Right. I'm just looking for my blending cup. So you want a tall, I mean, if you've got several NutriBullet cups, you could probably use the NutriBullet for this as well. We're going to make a quick Caesar dressing. I mean, this isn't a proper one, but it's a healthy one. So you're going to need your anchovies. You're going to need your garlic. You're going to need your yogurt or your kefir. You're going to need your Parmigiano and your garlic, if I didn't say that already. You got all those ingredients?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. So we're gonna take 2 cloves of garlic. You wanna
Chef,
Yeah.
can I pause for 1 second? So I got the shredded sweet potato that needs to go in the air fryer.
No, the shredded sweet potato needs salt mixing through it, like 3-4
Yeah.
pinches, and then it needs to just sit.
Okay, perfect.
What was the
And-
last blast of ingredients there you asked for, Chef?
Garlic, anchovies, kefir or Greek yogurt. And
A tin of anchovies, chef? A tin
Yeah.
of anchovies?
not the
Okay,
well,
the
you need
whole
to
tin?
open it. You need to open it. You don't need the whole thing. No, you're only gonna need about 2 fillets.
What
So
should I do with the rest? How long will they keep?
as long as they're covered in oil, they're gonna keep weeks in the fridge.
Okay.
So you can either wrap that tin, it's not so tidy. If you've got a tiny little Ziploc bag, you pour the leftovers in there. Make sure it's really well sealed. You don't want that bag to burst in the fridge, otherwise it'll stink.
Yeah.
So 2 cloves of garlic. I just crush them with my hand like that to break the skin off, and then peel them, and they go into the blender whole. I don't know if I put lemon juice or lemons on the list. If you have half a lemon, the juice of half a lemon would be good. If you don't, then a little bit of cider vinegar will do. So 2 cloves of garlic go into the jug, half of a lemon.
And 2 anchovies. Right, chef?
Good buddy.
Hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, great. So half a lemon, 2 garlic cloves, and then I'm gonna put. I've got tiny anchovies. I'm gonna put 4 in, but yeah, if you got big ones, then 2 will probably be enough. So anchovies are really healthy. They're a very particular taste, but you know, all mixed together, you're barely gonna notice them. To be honest, we've done this before, and it's come out great. Did you have kefir or do you have Greek yogurt? Greek yogurt, yeah.
Greek yogurt. Yeah.
Okay, so you want to put about a cup of Greek yogurt in there. I'm going to put my kefir in. You want to put a small chunk of Parmesan, like this much. Also whole, and then you just blend the whole thing up. It might need a bit of salt, actually, a little bit of salt as well. Actually, sorry, I should have put this, but mustard. If you happen to have some mustard, it will really improve it. If you don't worry, but a teaspoon of yellow mustard. I'm putting that in. My bad. We've gone on the list. Right. And then we blend. So if you're using Greek yogurt, that's better than kefir.
Chef, I don't know if you can see that. That's pretty thick, hey? This will be okay.
That's good. That's what you want. You want it thick.
Okay.
My kefir was too runny, and so I've got a very runny dressing. You want yours to be really creamy and thick.
Okay, I'll be right back.
How's yours looking, Tony? You got your lemon juice in there?
Terrible.
Terrible. What are you missing?
The mixture.
Well, you don't have Greek yogurt.
I have a little bit of Greek yogurt. Yeah, I'm really back on my ingredients.
Well, you were only going to make the mug cake, weren't you?
I mean, I'll try everything.
Okay. So you don't have anchovies, I suppose.
I have anchovies, yeah.
So what are you missing?
I don't have enough Greek yogurt. I thought
That's
I had
fine. That's fine. Just use 2 anchovies and whatever Greek yogurt you have.
Well,
And
I don't have the mixer either.
you don't have the what?
What you're doing right now, I don't have it. The mixer.
Yeah, but you have a NutriBullet. Do you have a spare jug? You should have two. I mean, most NutriBullets come with 2. I just didn't want to get another one dirty.
No, I don't.
All right.
I'm gonna go back.
Maybe actually a little bit-
What are you going to do,
it's a
Tony?
little too thin.
It's too thin now, isn't it? Yeah, you see?
It is, yeah. Yeah. How do I thicken it up?
Well, we are going to have to reverse engineer it.
That comes from a mechanical engineer.
Yeah. We basically the usual way of making a Caesar dressing is with eggs and oil, and we've done it like that before. Have you got eggs and oil, Mark?
Yep.
So you're
Yes, I
actually
do.
better off, Tony. If you got less Greek yogurt, that's better because it. But you know what, Tony? You don't even have to blend it all.
Okay.
So what you're going to do, Tony, is you're going to mince the garlic really finely. You're going to chop the anchovies really finely. And then you're just stirring it all together. And that's it. That's going to be your Caesar dressing. Mark, you and me, we're going to have to take a food processor into which we're going to put 2 egg yolks. And we're going to make a mayonnaise. Or if you have a really healthy mayonnaise already, do you have a good mayonnaise at home?
Yeah, we have that Vegenaise or whatever it's called.
Yeah, well, there we go. Let's just use that. So what you want to do is you want to take some of the Vegenaise and add your liquid to it until you get the consistency you want. So maybe about a cup of the Vegenaise, and you just pour your tasty anchovy, garlic, yogurt mixture into that, and then we've had the workaround.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Chef.
And Tony, do you know what you're doing?
Kind of.
Kinda.
I'm getting there.
We're improvising, and that's half of cooking. You know, you're not always going to have all the ingredients, and there's always a solution. There's some key ingredients, obviously, like the anchovies kind of make a big difference, but everything else is peripheral. Garlic also makes a big difference. Right, so I air fried the potato skins, and this is what I got.
What do you think? And you just did oil? That's it, chef?
Yeah, I just tossed them in oil. Now I just put some salt on them. That was 160 centigrade for 5 minutes. Really good. Gone super crispy. Right. I'll stop eating them. So Caesar dressing. It's freaking delicious. That one's done. I'm just gonna leave it in the. I've had this sort of organic mayonnaise. I had it like, you know, this much full. I just added the dressing that we made, and that's beautiful. And it's thickened it just right. The other way would have been to use egg yolks and make our own mayonnaise to thicken it. It would have been, you know, exactly the same process. Just
Yeah, maybe in a minute. You want to come over? Take a look. Gordon Ramsay.
Gordon Ramsay, eat your heart out.
Gordon Ramsay's here.
Right, so I'm gonna fill my jars with lettuce. Well, tuna. Did you get tuna, Mark?
Yep.
You got tuna? Great. So we're gonna open that can of whoop ass or tuna. So I've been buying it in spring water, and it doesn't have much moisture in it, which is great. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just put the tin in the bottom of each jar. So about half, you can put a whole tin of tuna in each one. It depends how much you love tuna. I don't love it, but it's, you know, really healthy. And if you mix it with this Caesar dressing, it's actually a bit nicer. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm putting my tuna at the bottom of the jar. How's that coming along? Have you got lemon juice in there, Tony? That'll probably make it a little bit runny. If you don't have lemons, use cider vinegar.
I think I have lemon.
So, Mark.
Yes, sir.
So I've got my tuna at the bottom of the jar, and now I'm going to just
Mason jars. Yep.
Mason jars, and I'm just going to pour some of that Caesar dressing in. Actually, I've got exactly enough for both. So I put half the Caesar dressing in each mason jar, and then
What's this?
Anchovy.
What?
and I don't know what kind of lettuce you have. I mean, you probably grow your own lettuce, Mark, don't you? But I've got these baby gem heads.
Awesome. Yeah, not this time of year we're growing anything, chef.
Yeah, that's true. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to chop the heads off, form like that. If they need washing, they need washing. But otherwise, you just break them up and you put them inside the jars, but not covered in the dressing. But they're done now, right? So that's one of them done. Then I'm gonna peel some Parmigiano. So to make nice Parmesan shavings, you take a whole Parmigiano and you just peel. You peel it like this. See, nice little flakes. So I'm just gonna peel that and put that on top. So I've got my tuna and my Caesar dressing at the bottom. I've got my lettuce, and then I got the Parmigiano. So I'm then going to put the lid on, and then that's one salad ready. Any day this week, all I do is I tip it over onto a plate or bowl. That's it. Caesar salad done.
I didn't get you the cheese.
So that's going in the fridge. I got one, and then do the other one.
I can cut it up.
So just you break it up a little bit. You take the core off, and then you break it up a little bit. You want to make sure you have the really hard bits. The really hard bits of the lettuce are the healthiest because they've got the most fiber they're also the most bitter, and so they are going to have really nice detoxing effects. The green bits are also healthy; they got chlorophyll, but the core is even healthier, right? So that's the Parmigiano going in.
Take it to the roof.
So, what have you got working, Tony? You've got your quinoa done. Your beans are done now. Has all the water been absorbed?
Quinoa's done, beans are done. I have some of this stuff together. I think I'll go back and I'll do this one myself.
Did you make the salsa?
Yeah.
You made the salsa. Great, fantastic. So that can go in a container, or if you're going to have that today, then leave it out. How are your carrots from the microwave?
Perfect.
They're
Nice and
soft.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you blend them?
I can't. My
Because you
NutriBullet.
don't know where the NutriBullet is.
No.
But do you not have another blender? What's that thing in the background there? Is that like a soda stream machine, or what's that?
That's an espresso.
Oh, it's an Nespresso. Okay.
Air fryer.
Yeah.
I have a blender, but it's a big blender thing. Like.
Okay. Well, will the carrots fit in there?
Oh, they will. Yeah.
Yeah. So as long as they cover the blade, you'll be able to puree them.
Oh, okay.
As long as if they go underneath the blade,
Can I not just mash them up by hand? No.
you can. Yeah. If they're really soft, you can. Yeah. Use a hand masher. Yeah.
They're very soft.
Okay. Great. Right. Well, then this is the moment Ryan's been waiting for. We're gonna make the pumpkin mug cake.
Let's go. Pumpkin mug cake.
Chef, I just got to disappear to go blend up my butternut squash. I'll be back in
Okay,
a
yeah,
minute.
you go do that. We'll get everything else ready in the meantime. I can tidy up here a little bit. Quick clean down, duck, duck, duck.
Dad, I'm gonna go make a sandwich, okay? Dad, I'm gonna make a sandwich.
So should we do the Quinotto? Let's finish the Quinotto quickly, then you know what to do for that. You're just mashing, oh yeah, you're just mashing the carrots.
Yeah. The blender would have been easier.
But a fork won't be.
So you're gonna need the coconut flour. Maybe Ryan can help. Ryan, can you get did you get coconut flour? If not, then almond flour works as well.
Yeah,
You want the vanilla extract or essence. You want the coconut sugar. You want the baking powder.
Baking powder, coconut sugar. Is that the corn flour?
No, the corn flour was for the sweet potato roast.
Yeah, okay. Oh, got it. Coconut sugar.
Yeah. If you don't have coconut flour, do you have ground almonds or almond flour?
I have corn flour.
What do you have? Normal flour?
Corn flour?
No, corn flour won't do. What is Ryan holding in his hand?
That is the coconut flour.
Oh, that's what you want. Yeah, great.
Oh yeah. No, we have it. Yeah.
And coconut sugar as well, or not?
And coconut sugar. Yeah.
Okay, great. So you're gonna grab. So you can. Let's do just one mug, so you can see how it comes out, and then you can make the rest of the mixture in one go, and you keep it in a jug, and then every time you want this, you just pour it into a mug. But grab yourself a tea mug. Or coffee mug. I don't know what you drink out of it.
Wherever we don't put the coconut sugar.
Second.
So you got your mug, yeah?
Yeah.
You are then going to put eggs in there. So let me see how many eggs.
Just crack them in there.
Hold on 1 second. I'm just going to double check. Just make sure we get the right quantity of eggs. Pumpkin pie mug cake. So it's 1 egg. Yeah, 1 egg. You crack it straight in. Black.
Yeah.
take a fork or a spatula and you whisk the egg up. Then you want to add a 1/4 cup of your carrot or pumpkin puree. So here's a little trick. I'm going to put a little bit of oil in first. So I'm going to put about a tablespoon of avocado oil, and I'm going to put that inside the 1/4 cup measure and pour that in. And then I'm going to put my pumpkin puree in the cup. That way it'll come out more easily. So 1/4 cup of pumpkin or carrot puree, boom, in there as well. So you got your egg in there. You got a tablespoon of avocado oil or any oil, veg oil, not olive oil. Then you want to add about a 1/2 teaspoon of pumpkin spice. And you want to add 1.5 tablespoons of coconut sugar.
Yeah, I got the eggs, the puree.
So 1 egg. You got 1 egg?
Yeah.
1 egg, a 1/4 cup of pumpkin puree, 1 tablespoon of oil.
Yeah. You're gonna see how much you gotta put in.
So you got that? You got 1 egg, 1/4 cup of pumpkin puree or carrot puree, 1 tablespoon of oil. Then you're putting 1.5 tablespoons of coconut sugar, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Just a couple of drops, you know, you don't have to worry too much about it. The baking powder next, a teaspoon of baking powder, but this you want to measure exactly, okay? You really want exactly a teaspoon. Baking powder, you got to be careful. Not baking soda, but baking powder. And then you're adding your 2 tablespoons of coconut flour.
How much of the baking powder?
1 teaspoon. Now, it depends a little bit on how liquid your carrot puree or whatever was, whether you have to add more coconut flour or not.
Dad, why do you look like that?
It's in here.
No, it doesn't.
So you got the teaspoon of baking powder. You got the two tablespoons of coconut flour, 1.5 tablespoons of coconut sugar, 1/2 teaspoon of pumpkin spice, 1 egg, and a 1/4 cup of puree. And you keep stirring it. I'm just using a fork. I've been mixing it with a fork, and it's nice and homogeneous now.
Dad, why is this pot so big?
Pumpkin spice. The pumpkin spice. Was that? Oh yeah, okay. How much pumpkin spice?
How much pumpkin spice?
Yeah.
1/2 teaspoon.
A half of a teaspoon? That's a half?
Okay, and then you can add just a pinch of salt. Always helps.
Yeah, I want to put it.
Just a tiny amount of salt. And then that's it. Then make sure that the sides are cleanish. We're going to go to our microwave. It should taste really good already. If it doesn't, something's not right. I'm going to add a bit more sugar to mine.
Huh?
Liam, you want to help?
Right, and then into the microwave.
Dad, we're going to put that in the microwave?
And it's 90 seconds on high.
What?
90 seconds on the highest setting. In mine's 1,000-watt microwave, so it goes quite quickly. If you've got 900-watt, it might take a little bit longer. But 90 seconds is good, and then we'll see.
Dad, I'm going to watch.
And so, yeah, if the mixture comes out good for you, you can basically just use the same quantity. I'll put it in the chat. That way you've got a reference point, and you can just copy it into your notes, and you can double up, triple up. You can either make this fresh every day, or you can make one big mixture and stick it in.
Seems to be bubbling up pretty high.
Yeah, that's good. As long as it's not going over.
No, it's not.
That's fine. You want it to be bubbling up pretty high.
Go take it out.
No, let's see. No, you want to finish the 90 seconds because it's got to cook. How's yours looking, Mark? Is it bubbling up as well? It should be rising, but not going over. There, mine's done. And so when it's done, it shouldn't be too wet on top. It should be quite sort of puffy like this, see? And it'll start to shrink, but that's fine. So it's spongy. It should be very spongy. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to put a knife down the sides just to make sure it's not sticking. And then drum roll, roll of the truth. You tip it over, give it a little shake, and woo! Just about holds its shape. This, should end up with something wobbly like that. I'm just going to let that cool down.
Here we go.
Okay. Oh, Tony, that came out in one. Nice.
Yeah.
That's the baker.
What is it?
Oh, nice one, Mark. That's looking perfect. Right, now we want to make a really fast icing. So if you got organic cream cheese, you want to use that. If you don't have organic plain cream cheese, then Greek yogurt again. And you just mix it with some maple syrup or coconut sugar if you don't have maple syrup. So I'm just going to pour some maple syrup over it. So about a tablespoon. I'm just using the same mug again. Stir that really well. So that's cream cheese and maple syrup. But as I said, you can also use Greek yogurt would be healthier.
How much cream cheese or chef?
So it's about a quarter cup of cream cheese, plain cream cheese, no herbs or garlic, and about 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. I mean, if you can use Greek yogurt, it's healthier. But this, you know, it doesn't look pretty, but it's freaking delicious. Believe me. I'm going to go in when it's hot. I want to hear what Mark thinks of it. And Ryan, more importantly, Ryan, what does Ryan think of it?
We got Liam right now. We got another one of our.
So make sure you taste your cream cheese. Make sure you taste the. Oh, hello. Who's this? Ryan's brother.
Liam. This is number 2.
Hello, number 2. Who does number 2 work for?
I work for Big T.
All right. Right answer. What's your name?
Liam.
This is Liam.
Hi, Liam. So you're stirring the cream cheese and the maple syrup. Taste it. Make sure it tastes nice. It should taste like, you know, when you go to Cinnabon. Don't ever go to Cinnabon. It's bad for you. But Cinnabon have that amazing cream cheese icing over their Cinnabons. That's sort of what it should taste like. A little bit less sweet, hopefully.
Oh, it's ridiculous. It's really good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Good.
Holy.
So what do? You put it on top of the cake?
Yeah, you pour it on top of the hot cake and that's it. It's ready. Now, you know, to make it even healthier, you could put like a walnut on it if you want. I mean, essentially, you made a carrot cake, Tony.
Yeah.
You made a carrot cake. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Oh man, that is delicious.
Have you got? What, are you just eating the icing, or you got the mug cake in there as well? You want to eat the two?
I put the icing and then I just threw the cake back in on top of it.
Good idea. Yeah, eat it out of the mug. Why not? It's delicious, isn't it?
Oh my gosh, that is so good. Oh wow, chef.
And it hardly took us any time.
No kidding.
We got thumbs up here.
Yeah, Liam, you like it?
Yeah.
Great.
Oh my goodness, chef. Could a guy take that and like mix, like, because I got that much left of the butternut squash. Just mix all the ingredients together and then store it, or no?
So, I mean, you can keep it in the fridge for 3-4 days just as the batter. And then The only thing is the baking powder doesn't like sitting around. So maybe do mix everything bar the baking powder and then add that each time. I mean, you know, once you've got the batter mix, you just know that it's, you know, it's this much of the mug full. You just mix in that teaspoon of baking powder a la minute, and then you bake it. You're good. So yeah, weigh out how much pumpkin puree you have there and make a big batter. And then you can either make one big cake, you can make several mugs. You know, you and Sandy can have one each.
That's so good.
So good, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's really good.
And it's really moist. Now, when I was testing it, I tried one version exactly the same, but I added a tablespoon of raw cacao powder, and that made it really chocolatey, which was nice. I also did one with coffee. I make my espresso with the leftover grounds. I used a tablespoon of leftover grounds and put them in, and that was delicious too.
Really?
Yeah.
How are you in such great shape? It's amazing.
This is a healthy cake.
I know, but still.
Well, the idea is, you know, the cravings are going to come. If you can redirect them with one of these, it's better.
Well, that's done.
We gotta make our rashti, Mark. So the sweet potato should be really wet. You should be able to squeeze out liquid. See, that's what I'm doing. I'm squeezing out liquid out of my sweet potato. All that's liquid. So we want to get rid of that liquid.
Okay. How do we do that then, Chef? Just manually, by hand?
Manually, exactly. I'm just crushing it with my hands like this. And drain that out. You want to get rid of that liquid, obviously.
How much do we want it gone? Like
as much as you can, really.
Okay.
It'll make for a crispier end result. That's the idea.
Why shouldn't take outside for a minute?
Right. And then we want to add in our corn flour. That's what the corn flour was for.
Cornstarch, you mean?
Cornstarch, yes.
Okay.
In England, in England's corn flour. In North America, it's cornstarch. But it's like starch. It's really, really light.
How much, Chef?
So for about a cup and a bit of grated sweet potato, I'm going to say 2 tablespoons of corn flour. 1, 2. No salt because it should be really salty as it is. Then I'm going to get my frying pan hot.
I for sure have about at least 4 cups of sweet potato, Chef.
So yeah, I would only start with about half the amount with corn flour because let's just see how well it works, how well we've drained it, and how much you like it. Because if you don't like it, then you can do something else with it. So I'm just mixing it through. If you want a really crispy, rice flour also helps. I'm going to take a little bit more corn flour and mix that through. So I've put 3 tablespoons for 1.5 cups of that, and that's it. And we don't want to over mix it either. Then we want to get our frying pan nice and hot. In the meantime, Tony, you can start making the quinotto, and maybe Mark, you can multitask. So you want to get your pot of quinoa on.
The cooked quinoa? Mine's already cooked, Chef.
Yeah, if it's cooked, great. So you put your cooked onions from earlier in the pan first, ideally. Then you put your quinoa in. Get some boiling water. Ideally, you want stock, but if you don't have stock, boiling water will do.
Okay. So I got the onions, and how much quinoa?
You got the onions, and I've got about 2 cups of quinoa.
Okay, perfect. That's what I got.
Great. And then we basically want to put boiling water bit by bit to it. It's already cooked, so it doesn't actually need much water, just enough to heat it up. So I'm heating it up on a flame with the onions, the cooked quinoa, and now I'm just going to add some boiling water. If you have stock will help.
Quick question.
Yes, Tony.
The second half of the onions, were they supposed to be cooked or not?
Which second half?
Yeah.
We separated the first half of the onions for
Yeah, so we have two halves of the, yeah, so the first, you kept some onion out, didn't you? And that one, you're going to add it to the quinoa. It's sort of almost cooked, isn't it? Or is it raw?
Yeah, it's not fully cooked.
Yeah, so stick it in the pan first, fry it a little bit, then add your quinoa. Or if your quinoa is already in there, don't get another pan dirty. Just throw those onions in with the quinoa and just cook them a little bit longer with the stock. If you got stock, if you don't have stock, just boiling water. That's what I'm doing. So I've got my onions in there, I've got my quinoa, and I'm just adding maybe about half a cup of water and stock even. And I'm just gonna let that warm up and cook through. So in the hot pan, Mark, we're gonna start making our rushties. So you wanna grab them basically, Mark, like this, and make little patties. So you compress them in your hand like this, and you put them in straight onto oil. So I've got.
And all we have it in right now is the sweet potato and the cornstarch.
Correct. That's all you need.
Okay. Just thinking green onions, it would look good in there.
Green onions, yeah. The problem is they're going to go really soft. So you could, I would recommend we cook these, get them crispy, and then you could sprinkle some fresh green onions over the top.
All of the quinoa in there? All of the quinoa?
All of the quinoa, yeah. So you want to make them quite thin, these patties, Mark. Not too thick, because otherwise they'll take too long to cook, and by then the sweet potato will have burned. So it doesn't take long. Make sure you got plenty of oil in there, so that there should always be enough oil so that it's sizzling. And again, we're using avocado oil because it's healthier. Right, you're going to need some grated Parmigiano for your quinoa. Is your chicken cooked, Tony?
What was that, Chef?
Is your chicken cooked?
Yes.
Great. So you can either have like whole pieces of chicken. I like to shred my chicken, so I'm going to have a little shredded chicken going through my quinoa. So I've got this roast chicken that I had from a couple of days ago. So I'm just shredding bits off it, however much you want, I mean, I actually like to keep my chicken separate because then I can use it for different dishes like this, for example. So now I'm going to flip my rushties. They're really, one of them's already crispy and brown underneath. Let's check this one. Probably do a bit longer, but you can flip them back and forth so they don't have to stay on one side for ages. Probably better we keep turning them, Mark. So I've got the heat down really low. I'm going to go to sort of medium. You don't want them cooking at high heat for too long, Mark, because otherwise they'll go too brown too soon. So you see this one is just about right. These ones, they still need more on the other side, but we want to finish cooking them through before they caramelize. Right, quinoa is almost done. So what we're going to do now, a little bit behind schedule today. Let's mix this quinoa. So once all the water's been absorbed, you want to add your Parmigiano. You should have some butter as well. So go sparingly on the butter. Use really good quality butter. Always buy the best quality organic butter you can. And I'm just putting 1 tablespoon in there. I'm switching it off. So if it's steaming and it's plenty hot, then that's all you need. I'm going to just grate some Parmigiano straight in. And we're basically finishing this off like we would a risotto. So this is how you finish a risotto, with butter and Parmigiano. Some people like to add a little bit of lemon juice or white wine, but I'm just going to add a touch of lemon juice. That's just going to cut the richness of the butter and the Parmesan. And I'm stirring that all up. And it should go really nice and creamy. If it needs a bit more liquid, you can add a bit more water or stock. I'm just stirring that. And that's done. That's the quinoa. It should be creamy and thick, almost like porridge, oatmeal. Make sure you taste it. Mine doesn't taste of much, so I need to add salt and pepper. Very important. If you add both of those, it's going to taste a lot better very quickly.
That's nice.
And then once it's all ready, then you mix through your cooked chicken. And that's it. Quinoa, quinotto, done. So that can easily be reheated. It's not like risotto. Risotto, you kind of have to eat it straight away. The next day, it's going to taste like mush. Quinoa won't go mushy. All you do is you add a little bit more water. You can microwave it, stir it, and it'll be just like this.
It smells awesome, man.
Great. So keep an eye on your rushdie, Mark. I'm flipping mine again to the other side. So it comes to, yeah, now the bottom side is nice and brown. Look at that, looks great. So the thing about the rushdies, they're not going to stay crispy for that long, unfortunately. So you kind of want to eat one today if you can, and then the other ones will just be what they are.
So add the chicken in right now. Is it?
Yeah, yeah. Once your quinoa, so stir it, taste it, make sure it tastes yummy. You add some salt, pepper. If you're happy with it, then you mix through your chicken.
Excuse me.
A little bit of lemon juice also helps. As I said, it just lifts it. If you don't have lemon juice, white wine, like literally a drop of white wine, a sip would be good enough. So I'm gonna put my quinoa in my Tupperware, let it cool down. I'm not eating that anymore, but that is ready to go for the week. And you know, this is super filling and really good kind of carbs. It's got the protein. Yes, it's got a bit of butter in it, but if I have a salad before that, that's gonna, especially with the avocado, even that lettuce bean wrap, that's gonna compensate for that little bit of saturated fat that you get from the butter. Right, I think my rushdis are done. I'm flipping them over again. They're crispy and brown on both sides. They are done. Should be quite soft as well. What do yours look like, Mark?
I've only flipped them twice.
Okay, so yeah, wow, they look great. They're almost there. I think one more flip for one of those more orange ones, and you're done.
Oof. Made a mess today, chef.
Yeah, there's a lot of. We haven't even done one of the dishes. We were gonna make the oatmeal overnight oats. So I'll just explain it to you. Some of you might need to jump off. Do you need to jump off, or you want to do the oatmeal?
Oh no, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, let's do it. Super fast. Right, chicken. Got to line up all the dishes so we don't have mishmash. So for the oatmeal, we are going to need. I'm just going to transfer my my sweet potato rushdie onto a paper towel just to absorb the excess fat. There we go. Boom. Yeah, so for the overnight oats, you grab your container. You're going to put your oats in there. I'm going to put about 2 cups of oats. It's plenty. For, I mean, you know, half a cup is the recommended amount per day. If you have 2 cups, sorry, 1 cup is quite filling. Depends what else you're going to have. If this is going to be your only breakfast, I would probably go 3/4 of a cup per day per portion that you want. So work out how many portions you want and put in. Oh, we got the same Irish oats.
I got them, yeah.
Fantastic.
Amazon. So how much it is?
So 3/4 of a cup per day. So if you got 5 days, 5 times 3/4 is 0.7 is about 40. No. If 150 divided by 4 is okay. Well, I would do 4 cups. Just as a ballpark figure. Don't have to overthink it. So I've got two types of oats here. I think I explained that the other day. We've got porridge oats and jumbo oats. You can really use either for this. I'm going to use the jumbo oats, which are usually steel cut. They got slightly more whole grain. And the porridge oats, I use them if I want to make a quick porridge in the morning and I want to have it hot. But this one, they're going to soak overnight. Our 4 cups of oats.
Hey, chef, have you seen lately? There's a bunch of like fitness experts, whatever, saying how like I think it's Andrew Huberman saying just how terrible oats are for you.
Yeah. So apparently, the reason they're so bad is because for many years, big farms have been using a pesticide on them, and apparently they have to add that pesticide right at the end, just before harvest. And so there's still residual elements of that pesticide in them. And there's a particular compound or chemical called glyphosate. And apparently that's really bad for us. However, organic oats don't use pesticides. So the simple solution is just eat organic oats. Then it's not a problem.
Thank you, chef.
In the EU, they've changed, like they said, any oats that are made from January last year or something are now glyphosate free in the EU, if they're made in the EU, because it's illegal to use that. But, you know, you never know where you get your oats from, unless it specifically says, you know, Irish oats or whatever, then you're probably all right. But I just get organic. I just buy organic oats. They're not that much more expensive. And then you're safe.
Perfect.
And the other thing is, there's also fitness experts saying that they've got another compound in them that's really hard for the body to digest. And there's 2 ways around that. You either use acid or use lactic bacteria found in yogurt. Both of those, or heat. So when you cook oats, they are much easier for the body to digest. It doesn't become a problem. It's only when they're raw that it's an issue. Or if you don't use lemon juice. So we're going to pour lemon juice over our oats. That's going to be the acid it needs, especially overnight. That acid's going to have time to start breaking down those hard to digest compounds that people go on about. So I'm putting the juice of, probably need 2 lemons.
What's up, broken dog? What the hell are you making? Oh, is this your cooking class? Jesus Christ.
What the hell are you making?
Really smart asses.
Is this number 3 or number 1?
That's awesome.
Is it number 1?
That was number 1.
That was number 1. Yeah, he's got all the attitude.
We better have a following class in cleanup.
I planned to come in here and make a sandwich. I don't know what the hell this is doing.
Is the pumpkin pie, has the carrot cake gone, or have you still got enough to make more? They're all gonna want to taste it. Right. So you got your lemon juice on your oats. You're gonna take a banana. You're gonna mush that up. So you can put it in the side there and just use a fork and mush that up.
You said 1 banana?
Yeah, I'm using 1 large banana. If it's smallish, you can maybe use 2. Then I'm gonna add my cinnamon. Peanut butter, make sure you use unsweetened peanut butter with no extra palm oil or fats. So I'm going to put like a tablespoon in there, maybe 2 tablespoons even. And then little trick is just to pour some boiling water over the peanut butter. So don't mix the peanut butter in yet, but just pour some boiling water over it.
Or some boiling peanut water over the peanut butter?
Yeah, and that'll just help dissolve it so it's not one big lump. So I put like a half a cup of water, and I'm just stirring the peanut butter into that water like this. and mixing it with the banana, and that's all becoming like a mixture. We got some more banana that's mushing there. So the banana should be ripe. That's the sweetness element. We got the cinnamon. That's going to make us think it's sweet when it's not. It's going to remind us of Cinnabons. I mean, personally, I love Cinnabons, in case you hadn't noticed, but they're just probably they're just as bad as donuts for you. They're terrible. But that nostalgic taste of cinnamon is really lovely. Right, then I'm going to add some Greek yogurt. Hopefully you've got some left. You want to add a good heaped tablespoon of Greek yogurt. That's going to be your protein. It's going to be some good fat. It's also going to be that lactic bacteria that's going to help break down the oats. And then finally, you can either add filtered water or you can add unsweetened almond milk. I'm using unsweetened almond milk. And you want to cover the oats with the almond milk and stir. So you want to stir that all up, and it should be quite runny because overnight those oats are going to soak it all up. I mean, to be fair, I could probably eat this in one sitting, but I've got two days worth here in theory. It's going to expand a little bit. And then, you know, when you come to eat it, you can put any fruit you got. If you got some blueberries, you throw a handful of blueberries in there. If you got some strawberries, throw some strawberries in there. If you got some grapes, they travel well. If you're going to take this to the office, Tony, just grab a bunch of grapes. Both could really stay out of the fridge in a cold car or somewhere, and they'll be fine. You know, you can stick it in your car today, and then tomorrow it'll be, you know, it'll be fine for your trip to work. And then you could put the grapes through there, or blueberries, as I said. Already delicious. If you like it sweeter, add some maple syrup. But as I said, oh, we haven't added flax seeds. Did I have flax seeds on the list? I think I did. This is where the flax seeds go in. Ground flax seeds, or if you don't mind whole ones are better for you. But ground ones, I mean, they're better for you in that they're more fiber. They'll push your digestion through, but the ground ones will release the omega-3 a bit better. So I'm going to add a touch of honey to mine. I like it sweeter, and honey's good for you, and it's really nice with oats. There we go, touch of honey. That should be delicious. So to recap the measurements, I've got 2 cups of oats in there, 1 banana, about a teaspoon of cinnamon, tablespoon of flax seeds, a heaped or 2 tablespoons of Greek yogurt, a tablespoon of peanut butter, honey to taste, and then maybe 1.5 to 2 cups of almond milk just to cover it, and that's it, done. You could do that every night. You know, it takes you 5 minutes, and you got your oats ready for the next day. And you know, rather than picking up a Starbucks coffee and a croissant, boom, you have that instead, and it's super filling and really quite satisfying. Well done, gents. Tony, first Smart Cooks class. I love it.
So you cover it in oat milk, right? You cover it in milk, right?
You cover it in almond milk, yeah.
And then just leave it in the fridge?
Leave it in the fridge overnight, covered, yeah.
Got it. Thank you. This is great.
Hey,
My pleasure.
hey, Chef, real quick, the
Yes.
the juice from the black beans, what can we do with that? Give it to the dogs.
No, I mean, yeah, but your beans, by tomorrow, those beans are going to be drier. So you could just add that in now. If you're going to keep those beans in the fridge overnight, just add that. I mean, I only have this much liquid. I don't know how much liquid you have, but I'm going to add
Quite
that
a
to
lot.
my beans. You have
For
quite a
sure,
lot.
a cup and a half. I would say a cup and a half.
I mean, if you don't mind, I mean, the problem is the beans need to be a little bit dry to fit onto the thing. You could just have that as a drink. You put it in your smoothie. I mean, it's really nutritious. So,
Awesome.
I mean, it depends. It depends where you got your cans from. If they're organic and you know, they don't have a ton of salt in them, then they're really good for you. But otherwise, they're not so great. So I'm going to add them to my beans because my beans are already going quite dry. Right, gents. Any more questions for me?
No, that's it. Thank you, Chef.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Tony. Thanks,
Thanks, guys.
Well done.
Ryan. Yeah.
Ryan's done the run.
You know, I put the ingredients to the pumpkin pie in the chat, so highlight and paste it into your notes if you want.
Okay. That was wonderful, Chef. Awesome to see you. Awesome to see you, Tony. And Ryan.
And Ryan and Liam.
Bye.
Ryan, Liam, and then number one who just shouted at
Number
you.
one, yeah.
Sure they're gonna deserve it.
But number two had the right answer. He said, I work for Big Tony. I love it. Adios. See you next week.
Adios.
Thanks,
See you,
guys.
boys.
Thank you.
Thank you.